Well, I'm going to talk about the Mississippi River, and I know we mentioned it several times that we're almost on the river. So we have discussed this map, and as you can see, the heartland of the eastern two-thirds of the United States, this is the Rockies, is drained by the Mississippi River, all the way up to Canada there, all the way up past the Great Lakes there. On this side we have the competing, and the British and the French were, this was British, the French called all of this La Louisiane, and this was Nouveau Mexique, which was the Rio Grande. Not nearly as grande as the Mississippi, but it drained a big country too. But this was dry country, this is extremely wet country. And when we had this one, they showed more just at the course of the Mississippi River, and you see the Yazoo Mountains and Arkansas, the Handsome Men, and other details of that. But that was the English version when they're trying to take this away from the French. And then we have this extraordinary map of the Mississippi River in 1863 during the war, and this was done by J.T. Lloyd in New York City with information from the government. It was compiled from Government Surveys and Topographical Bureau, which was most of it done during the war. And this is 1863. And we have, it starts at St. Louis, goes to New Orleans, and we are over here, Lauderdale County. There is Ripley, and we're just north Ripley in that curve there. And there's several forts, there's Hales Point, along the river, because I think there are about 10 of them from St. Louis down here, because they had to keep the Union from coming down the river and splitting the Confederacy in two. So, and this also shows the counties. It's in 1863. But then we have, this is a fairly rare map that I have a reproduction of, made in New Orleans. And this is plantations on the Mississippi River from Natchez to New Orleans in 1858. And it has vignettes of the different parts of the river. There's Baton Rouge, there's New Orleans, and there's cotton plantation, sugar plantation. There were the two main things. Farther north was all cotton. Down around New Orleans, there was more sugar. And then so it has a lot of detail about. The one thing I wanted to point out is these are the actual plantations with their names. This is Mrs. A.D. Thoreau Union is the name of the plantation. So it have the name of the people, and there's Mrs. E.B. Donaldson. Here is William B. Winchester. Buena Vista, both Donaldson and Buena Vista and Winchester were my late wife's family, who had some things down there. Anyway, you notice it gets from narrow to wider, particularly in the bends. Look at this bend here, how and this is a French way of dividing the land when there are curves in the river. And I'm sorry I cannot explain it, but it gets bigger the further out it goes. And these are all grants, so they were done mostly in the 1700s, early 1800s. And this, we have the river boats and the plantations, which were some of the richest. This is one of the richest areas in the United States at that time.